Glucose gets used by every cell in your body, your muscles, your brain, your heart, all of it. Fructose, the sugar in soda, candy, and most desserts, gets handled almost entirely by one organ, your liver. There's no backup system, no other tissue stepping in to help carry the load. The average person eats far more added sugar than they'd ever guess, hidden in bread, sauces, coffee drinks, cereal, condiments, not just dessert. Today we're tracking what a daily habit of that sugar actually does to one organ, day by day, for 30 days, because the damage doesn't announce itself with pain. It shows up on a scan, and by then it's already been building for months. Think of your liver like the grease trap under a restaurant sink. It's built to catch a little fat now and then, and quietly clear it out overnight. One greasy pan, no problem. But pour grease down that drain every single day, and the trap stops clearing out. It fills, it hardens. Eventually the whole pipe backs up. That's the exact mechanism sitting behind almost every fatty liver diagnosis nobody saw coming. We've been told sugar is just empty calories, harmless in small daily amounts as long as you're not overweight. That's the myth. Sugar isn't neutral once it reaches your liver. It's a direct chemical instruction to start manufacturing fat, whether you're thin or not, whether you exercise or not. There's a reason researchers who study this call fructose metabolism the liver's dirty secret. The pathway your liver uses to break it down skips the normal checkpoint that slows glucose processing down. The same rate-limiting step alcohol also skips. That's not a coincidence. Biochemically, fructose and alcohol get processed through strikingly similar liver pathways, both converted rapidly toward fat production with almost no built-in brakes. You don't need a drink to hand your liver an alcohol-like workload. A large soda, most days, will do it. Let's start the clock. Day 1. You eat something sweet. A soda, a dessert, a coffee with syrup. Your body sorts the sugar into 2 lanes. Glucose goes into your bloodstream. Insulin escorts it into your muscles and brain to be used almost immediately as fuel. Fructose takes a different exit, straight to the liver, because your liver is nearly the only tissue with the enzyme needed to break it down at all. Every other cell in your body is functionally blind to it. Table sugar and high fructose corn syrup are both roughly half fructose by weight, so nearly every sweetened food or drink you eat is quietly sending half its load straight to this one organ. On day 1, this is fine. The trap catches the grease, processes most of it into usable energy, and clears out overnight while you sleep. You feel nothing. There is no warning system at this stage, which is exactly the problem. Day 3. The trap is still clearing out, but it's working harder. Your liver can only burn or export so much fat in a day, so it starts converting the extra fructose into fatty acids through a process called de novo lipogenesis, quite literally, making new fat from scratch. The overflow gets packaged into something called VDL, a fat-carrying particle it ships out into your bloodstream, which is where a chunk of your rising triglyceride number actually comes from, if you got blood work done this week. This isn't damage yet. It's a system running close to capacity every single day without a break. Day 7. This is where the trap stops fully clearing. Some of that manufactured fat doesn't get exported in time, so it stays, sitting inside your liver cells as tiny fat droplets. This is the earliest stage of what doctors call fatty liver, and at this point it's completely invisible on a normal checkup. There's a second cost hiding here too. Fat sitting inside liver cells starts muffling the signal insulin is supposed to send. Your liver's response to insulin gets slightly duller, which means it gets a little sloppier about when it's supposed to release stored sugar into your blood and when it's supposed to hold back. A small crack that widens every day the habit continues. This local resistance doesn't stay local for long either. It's often the very first domino in a chain that eventually shows up as resistance in your muscles too, long before a standard blood sugar test would ever flag it. Day 14. The droplets aren't staying separate anymore. They're merging into larger fat pockets inside more cells. Your liver enzymes, ALT and AST, the ones a routine blood panel checks, often start ticking upward here, a sign the cells are under low-grade stress, not injury exactly, more like strain. Your fasting blood sugar can drift up slightly too, because a liver that's half listening to insulin lets a bit more sugar leak into your bloodstream overnight than it should. There's a byproduct of this whole pathway almost nobody's heard of too. Breaking down fructose also generates uric acid, the same compound behind gout, which is part of why chronically high sugar intake and joint flare-ups tend to show up in the same people. And there's a feedback loop hiding in here as well. The more sluggish your insulin signaling gets, the more your brain's hunger and reward circuits seem to crave exactly the thing causing the problem. The habit starts reinforcing itself. Day 21. Now the trap isn't just full, it's inflamed. The mitochondria inside your liver cells, the parts responsible for burning fat for fuel, get overwhelmed trying to process the daily backlog, and overwhelmed mitochondria produce free radicals as a byproduct. Your immune system notices. Specialized immune cells that live in the liver, called Kupffer cells, start responding to that low-grade damage, which is the exact bridge between simple fatty liver and the more serious inflammatory version doctors call NASH. This is still reversible territory, but it's the stage where, left running for months or years instead of weeks, those same immune cells can start signaling other cells to lay down scar tissue, the first step toward fibrosis. Nobody crosses that line in 3 weeks. But 3 weeks is exactly how early the recruitment notice gets sent out. Day 30. 30 days of daily sugar, and your liver looks measurably different than it did on day 1. In controlled feeding studies, healthy adults given a daily dose of added sugar for just a few weeks showed a real, measurable increase in liver fat on imaging, no weight gain required to see it happen. This condition even got renamed recently. Doctors used to call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now many use the term MASLD, metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, because the driver usually isn't alcohol at all. It's exactly this. The trap is coded. The pipe is running slower. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. You probably feel completely normal through all 30 days. No pain, no symptom, just a quiet accumulation, one grease-coated day at a time. Here's the actual protocol, and it isn't never eat sugar again. That kind of all-or-nothing rule rarely survives a real week. Step 1. Target liquid sugar first. Soda, juice, and sweetened coffee hit your liver faster and harder than the same sugar eaten in solid food, because there's no fiber slowing anything down. Cutting drinks alone removes most of the daily load for most people without changing anything else about how they eat. Step 2. Don't confuse fruit with added sugar. Whole fruit comes wrapped in fiber that slows fructose absorption and gives your liver time to keep up. An apple is not the same chemical event as apple juice. Even though the sugar itself is identical, the fiber changes the speed of delivery, not the destination. Step 3. Pair any sugar you do eat with protein, fat, or fiber. Dessert after a real meal hits your system slower than the same dessert on an empty stomach. Same sugar, different curve. Step 4. Move after you eat it. A short walk pulls glucose into your muscles and takes pressure off your liver to manage the entire load alone. Step 5. Give your liver actual break days. Consistent daily loading is what overwhelms the trap in the first place. A few lower sugar days each week give it room to actually clear out instead of just barely keeping up. Step 6. If you drink alcohol, know that it competes for the exact same liver pathway sugar uses. Stacking both daily is where risk climbs fastest. Cutting either one alone helps. Cutting both helps far more. A few real caveats. This isn't a diagnosis tool if you're genuinely worried about your liver. The only way to actually know is blood work or an ultrasound from a doctor. Not how you feel day to day, since every stage we just walked through is silent by design. If you already have diabetes, high triglycerides, or drink alcohol regularly, talk to a doctor before making major changes. Those factors compound with sugar's effect on the liver, rather than just adding to it. And this isn't a reason to fear fruit or cut all sugar out of your life in a panic. That kind of restriction creates its own problems and isn't what this protocol is asking for. This is about the daily habitual load, not the occasional dessert. Here's the good news. The trap metaphor doesn't quite capture. Unlike a lot of fat in your body, liver fat is one of the fastest deposits to actually reverse. It didn't take years to accumulate the way stubborn fat elsewhere does, and it doesn't take years to clear either. Cut the daily load, and research shows measurable improvement in liver fat within weeks, not years, often faster than any other fat on your body responds. You're not stuck with 30 days of buildup. You're one clear decision away from giving that trap room to drain again. If you found out something today you didn't expect, tell me honestly which day surprised you the most. I'll see you in the next video.